Hello, everyone. Tom Fox back again with Kenneth O'Neill for another episode. Kenneth, today I was hoping we could take up relationships, but before we get to that, I wanted to maybe ask you to review the elements of the Circle of Gumption for us.
Oh, thank you. That's great. It's good to be here again. And the Circle of Gumption, of course, the book was published in July of 2022. And I guess the fastest way to get people back to recognizing the Circle of Gumption is through what I call the fundamentals of the Circle of Gumption. And these are the principles that we stand by. A person that would have gumption would be characteristic as this. Your mental input is so important. The things that you put in your mind, the books you read, the people you associate with, the music you listen to, and the things that you go through on a daily life. But guard the things that you put in your mind through the things you read and the people you associate with. And number two is we talk about living a life of integrity. And the byproduct of integrity, of course, is trust. So integrity is a big thing. And then number three is that we kind of take this from Nike. Do it now, and you will be motivated to continue to do it. So we want to be motivated to do the right thing and to be the right person. We believe in self-discipline, self-control, and creating good habits. In fact, my good friend Tom Ziegler, he talks about take those bad habits and replace them with good habits. So that is a wonderful thing to do as a person of gumption. Then we believe that you ought to be working for your dream, for your vision, for your purpose. In other words, chase serving people instead of chasing the almighty dollar. So it's not the paycheck, it's the dream. And then we believe that everybody should be a goal setter. Once set, it's amazing. But if you just set the goal, if you have a target, you're halfway home. You're already gotten started. And then the last one that we really believe in is that in your personal development, you should work on yourself the most. In other words, don't ask God to make it easier. Ask God to make me better. Let God make me better. So when you do that, it greatly improves your self-image. And so to finish up here on the introduction is that we have 4 pillars in the book Circle of Gumption. And that's being, doing, giving, and then creating legacy. So those are the pillars that are actually discussed within the book. And each week on the podcast here, we come up with what we call the word of the week. And as you mentioned, this week we're going to talk about relationships. But what we want people to do is once they hear the word, chat the word down. Write it down. Take a hard look at it and say, relationships, how does this impact me? What can I do so that I can continue this self-development, this growth toward a well-balanced life? And so take it and use the word. And we actually get these words, and they come from, virtues and characteristics of success. That's what we want. Because, see, a well-balanced life is balanced success. And success, my definition of success is that you take all of your gifts, all the skills you have, all your talents, and you use them. Use them to serve people. And when you use one at that level, 100% of who you are, and you're sharing it with people, Ziegler said that if you can have everything in life you want, if you'll just serve enough other people to get what they want. So does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, Kenneth. But let's drill down a little bit into relationships, because this is something that every human being faces. Whenever one or more are gathered, whether it's in a romantic relationship, whether it's in a business relationship, you're always going to have relationships. So how do you help a person think through not just being in a relationship, but within the context of the fundamentals of the circle of gumption and this continued growth and continued exploration as a servant?
Well, the way I break it down is that there are three major components of relationships. All right. And the number one relationship that is so important is your creator. That's number one, your creator. In other words, something bigger than you are. You have to have that belief in that relationship. And the more intimate that relationship is, the more that I believe that you will have a well-meaningful life. Now, number two is the relationship with yourself. Because, and I think we said it in the introduction, is that work on yourself. Have a principle of life, a philosophy of life that says, I'm going to get better. And that's what all these tenets are talking about. All the different words, the different characteristics and everything that we talk about as qualities of success, they're going to make us better. And then the third relationship group that we have is we classify it as others. But included in others is the one thing that everybody will tell you. What is the most important thing in your life? And 99% of the people are going to say, my family. My family. That's the number one priceless thing in my life. And when I'm doing my seminar, the one I do on goal setting and achievement, we're always talking about being intentional. And I think in relationships, this is one place that we have to be intentional in creating an atmosphere that you can continue a conversation with people. And you have to be kind. You got to be civil. You got to be gentle with the words. There's two words here. One would be respond or react. And that reaction just creates disaster. When somebody says something or they do something and you don't like it and you have a relationship with them and you react, just bang, and you let them have it. You point the finger at them, you condemn them, you blame them, and get involved in what I call the drama triangle. All right. That destroys relationships, especially today with all the division that we have over many, many different things. But what you don't want to do is to have people walk away. Because if they walk away, you're not going to have an opportunity to have that relationship, and you're definitely not going to have that conversation. So what you have to do is create an atmosphere, create an environment where there's kindness and gentle and there's affection, and you can talk to people. One of the biggest words in relationship, and I might have gotten a little off base here for you, but it is to create that relationship and to keep it going. But one of the big words here is the word compliment. All right. And that spelling is COMPLIMENT. Now there's another word that is with an E. All right. So compliment, that's where we praise people and we tell them what a great job they've done. That's with the I. And the compliment, of course, is something that if you give somebody a compliment, then you will complement the relationship. Does that make sense?
It does.
See what I'm saying? Okay. So, you go through and the compliments, we love to get compliments. I've always heard that people get dressed for other people. Those nice earrings that a lady has, she wore them for one reason. For you to say, gosh, I love those earrings. I love that blue dress on you. And one of the greatest compliments I think you can give somebody is to say, hey, I'm really proud of you and I'm glad you're on our team. You make this work. And we love to get that because when we give compliments, people's expectations go up. You know, I used to love my grandmother when she'd say, Kenneth, that shirt, that was exactly the shirt I wanted you to wear today. You look so good in that. So the next time when I'm getting dressed, will my grandmother like this shirt? You know, so we tend to raise our level of productivity to the height that other people expect us to do. So that's why in relationships at work, I mean, you want to continually have conversations with your employees so that you're co-creating this atmosphere of having excellence and having a great growth in the company. The companies continue to grow, continue to make profits, but relationships are so important. And the biggest thing in there is that word effective communication. The conversations that you can have and keep growing on those conversations. And you gotta watch your words, control your tongue, and just be careful in what you say. And the biggest thing is maybe ask some questions about, you know, how do you feel today? I mean, what did you do over the weekend? You know, so it's always continual conversation around the water cooler. They still have water coolers today? I guess so. But, you know, just talk to people. Talk to people.
They have water coolers, but they're at home. So what I really heard there was a lot of engagement, but even more important was listening.
Listening is listening, people don't realize it, but that is a major component of effective communication is to listen. And you got to listen at what we call the synergistic level, is where you know that you know you're on the same page.
I'd even say listening is one of the 2 or 3 top elements of a leader.
That's great. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, listening to what your people are saying. And, you know, the major thing in effective communication is that you've got your components of words, all right? Then you have your eye contact, your body language, all right? And how you relate to people. But the words are only about 7%. The nonverbal, it's way over 65%. So be careful in how you react to people and the things that you say. And what was that old saying? You get a whole lot more from sugar or whatever than you get from vinegar. Is that the word? But it's that attitude that you have.
Well, Kenneth, unfortunately, we're near the end of our time for this episode. But before we leave, I wanted to ask you if our listeners wanted any more information on yourself, your services, or the Circle of Gumption, what would be the best place for them to go?
Okay, the best place to go is right at the moment, because tomorrow is the day, Tom. My brand new website should be up and going tomorrow. And it's going to be very interactive where they can put comments in. They can register for our workshops on there. They can leave us comments. They can schedule a meeting. And that's the big thing, is that we want them to be able to schedule a meeting, and we call it strategy or goal setting or discovery, whatever you want to call it, but to have that conversation. And we're doing a lot of those conversations on Zoom. But that's where we want to know, and we can bring out a little more information about how we can help them, because that's the big thing, is to serve them. But right now, if they want to, they can call me 830-285-7010, merger@windstream.net. And as I said before, I mean, the website should be up and going tomorrow or definitely over the weekend.
Well, this episode will go up after it goes live. So we'll put that link into the show notes. Kenneth, I look forward to continuing this conversation.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
All right.